Oh, I like that.
Welcome to my channel. We're going live. Hey, how's it
Hey,
going?
oh, another day in paradise. How you doing?
Absolutely, absolutely. You are in paradise because you're in Florida, and I'm over here in sunny Arizona. But it's a little chilly here, but we still love our sunny city. How's it going?
Oh man, same old thing, different day, and it's not paradise. I don't know what popular belief is, but man, I think God's upset at Florida
Why?
because it doesn't know what it wants to do here with weather. It rains like literally every day, but only for 30 minutes. So
Oh,
yeah, it's called a Florida shower, but the locals here say it's God crying because he's disappointed in Florida.
oh no. It is what it is. But yeah, thank you for coming today. This is the One Self podcast. And as you know, this podcast is where wellness meets purpose, inspiring you to grow intentionally and elevate your brand, business, and life. So today we are getting some insight from you about brand building, business development, and everything AI. And before I talk about that, I want to know, tell me about your professional background. Like what led you to this now business, Beech Marketing?
Oh man. Well, I'll preface it by saying old age led to it, because I've done a lot of things. I don't have a 30-year background in marketing or anything like that. Um, I started out industrial. I was an athlete. I was a professional athlete, and then after that, my hoop dreams and all of that, um, got grounded and I got sat back into reality. I went into industrial work. I worked at the Port of Houston for 15 years. I was operational manager, responsible for overseas cargo manifesto. Um, and like I said, worked my way up to be the operations manager there. And
Mhm.
then from there, I met my wife, which was we actually went to high school together, so I didn't meet her, but
Yeah,
um, I got with my wife and we started having kids, and that required a career change because I was in the port 15 hours a day.
wow.
So I got into mortgages
Mhm.
and I was a mortgage underwriter for the next 10 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, completely
Different.
opposite ends of the spectrum, right? So, yeah, I was a level three mortgage underwriter responsible for $1 million mortgages. I can sign off on loans for a million up to a million. So, yeah, I did that for 10 years. And then, we got to the point where the kids were a little older.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of making money for other people.
Mhm.
Let's find something that we can do to make money for ourselves. And I don't know what it was, a program or something about starting a business running Facebook ads for companies.
Mhm.
And that's where our marketing business began. Just simply finding businesses to allow us to run Facebook ads for them. We took the programs, took the courses, and began that way. And then it evolved from there.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And everything you've done, like you've done it organically, you've taught yourself, you've built your teams, and it's even nicer that you have your spouse that supports the journey too, because it's not easy. You got your first client, then you got to get another client, then you got things that you need help to do because there's some things you can't always know how to do by yourself. So
Yep.
you only scale and grow when you start building your teams and you can trust and rely on your folks. So I love that you've been able to do that with Beach Marketing and Media Group and with your wife as well. So
Oh yeah, it definitely wasn't a sprint. It was a cross country jog. Like I said, we're 3 years in now.
mhm.
April will be, well, it's not even 3 years. So April will be 3 years.
Okay, okay, nice, nice, yeah. And there's still so much to grow from it. I mean, I know some people are afraid of the new trend of having to keep up with technology because some people are like, "Oh, AI is going to take all my jobs and all this stuff." But honestly, if you use it the correct way and you use it responsibly, it can save you so much energy and time. I know for myself because I started using your software, and honestly, initially I was like little I don't know if I'm gonna be able to learn this. Like I don't know how well I'm gonna apply it. But the minute I started to apply it, just as simple as social media and creating my posts and automating them so that like I don't have to think like, did I post today? So that itself helps. And also like just having the app on the phone and being like, oh, I forgot to send the invoice. Well, that's okay. I don't need my laptop. I just go in, click on what I need to send, and it's done. So it's just that time saving that helps so much.
Absolutely. People, you have half and half. The youthful aren't afraid. They, when you're young, you just grow up in things and you accept it, and it is what it is.
Yes.
But older people kind of fight things off as
Hmm.
it develops, and AI is that new thing. And what people are starting to realize is if you learn how to utilize AI,
Hmm.
that's where the opportunity is, because the people that are going to get pushed out are the people that aren't utilizing AI, and AI, the people that are the ones that are kicking you out of your job. It's not literally AI kicking you out of your job. It's people that know how to use AI,
Hmm.
or, things of that nature, that are going to push people out. So the quicker you jump on,
Hmm.
the better off you'll be. And yeah, as far as time consuming, I mean, it's like having an army of employees, right?
Right.
So it's wonderful. And like once people actually get to utilize it, see it, and
Hmm.
with actually making it personable, as opposed to something that's foreign to them,
Yep.
or something that they just see on TV or other people. But
Hmm.
once it's personable and you're utilizing for whatever aspect you're utilizing it for, because there's a million use cases, right? But once that one use case that simplifies your life is discovered,
Hmm.
then all of a sudden, oh, the floodgates open and you're using AI for everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, getting into my questions here, what inspired you to start Beach, and how has the company's mission evolved since you founded it?
Well, like I said, it was the first, my wife, while I did the career change into the mortgages, she was doing the continuing education. She went and got her PhD,
Hmm.
did a couple of other things, got some certifications. So she wound up getting promoted,
Nice.
which made us move, right? So when we moved, I didn't want to find another career, because I went from one vastly end of the scope on one career to the complete other end, and I
Yes.
didn't know where I would go from there, right? So I was like, you know what, I don't want to do that again. I want to start my own business, so anyways, I don't know, it's been so long, I don't even remember how we came across it, but it had
Yeah.
to have been watching it on social media or something,
Yeah.
some
That's how I
program
found
on,
you. Is
yeah,
that you put out?
some program on running Facebook ads for businesses, right, to get for marketing. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start an ad company. It wasn't even a marketing agency at the time, because all we were doing was ads. I had knew nothing else, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And once I dove into that, and I bleeded all of my friendships and acquaintances, and like I said, I was a pro ball player, so there's a lot of people that I know.
Yes.
Um, After I exhausted that, I noticed that this won't last, because it's like literally every week you're looking for a new client, because every month,
Hmm.
people just don't run ads consistently. Well, they do, but not on average,
Yeah.
right? The successful companies consistently run ads, right? And they never cut them off. But
Right.
most people stop running ads. And then, hey, when they're ready to run another promotion or ready to start, they'll call back or whatever, right? So we were like, that's not predictable. That's not recurring revenue. That's not something we can count on.
Hmm.
Constantly churning. And
Yeah.
we're having to find new clients like constantly, right? And being that I'm not a marketer by trade, I was finding that difficult once I exhausted the people that I know, and all my networking.
Makes
So
sense.
I was like, you know what, we got to find another business model. And I didn't actively pursue it. And again, it fell in my lap, either scrolling, on social media or whatever. Once you get into something on your socials, you get
Yes.
flooded with all of these things, right?
Of course.
So I ran across this whole SaaS thing,
Yeah.
which is the software as a service. And that's where it all started. I was like, you know what? That's a monthly subscription.
Yep.
That's something that I can get with, because I can actually, now you couldn't when I started, but now there's a program
Yep.
to where you can get admin certified to use the software and be like licensed by the
Cool.
software developer.
Nice.
And that's what I did. And in doing that, I learned everything that there is to know about the software. And then we built out and customized it from there
Nice.
and ran with it. And
That's
it was all downhill from there, because I mean, it snowflaked.
I know that's amazing. That's amazing, and then you have results too, because like you have clients that didn't even have a Google page, couldn't be found, and now they're doubling their revenue, tripling their superseding what they didn't have before, just because they were afraid to go on social media or they were afraid to automate certain things. But just having that time back for their family, for themselves is huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it was a double entendre for us because even when they would stop running ads, we're still embedded in all their assets. We have their website hosted through the system. They have their payment processors through the system, their emails, their
Mhm,
website, like everything is embedded in Aiden. So even if they stop running ads, they're still a monthly client of ours. So
yeah.
that solved that churn
Mhm,
thing. And then, like I said, we just went once the advent of AI started just rolling, 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 rolling. We had all these different things we've customized
mhm.
and added to
Yep.
benefit our customers. And like I said,
And
it's
you're
just where we
constantly
are.
learning new things. I see that you're constantly, like with your team, you guys are constantly trying to like make life a little streamlined and easier for businesses. So I love that. And if you have a question, you guys are always there. So thank you for that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The next thing is, can you walk us through your flagship offering, like the AI generated system, Aiden, and explain like what makes it different from your typical marketing tools that are out there?
Okay. Just right off the top, right off the muscle, like I say, we're different because it's more of a like a done with you type of system. We don't we don't we don't consider Aiden SaaS
Hmm.
traditionally as SaaS, which is software as a service.
Hmm.
We kind of relabeled it as software. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's not software as a service because we don't just give you the software
Yes.
and then and then say, hey, call us if you need help.
Yes.
We kind of like hold your hand. We have tutorial videos.
Hmm.
Um, I forgot what we had. I just ran a campaign too. We called it software. It was one of our headlines.
Hmm.
Um, Software as a solution.
Solution. Yeah, there you go.
Software as a solution, not software as a service. So what we found is what separates us from other agencies is we help businesses that are using our software find the bottlenecks that they wouldn't be able to find otherwise. Meaning, like, we find solutions. There it is. It's software as a solution. Like, some people have problems with their automations or whatever breaking and not knowing that they're broken. Um, some people have problems just with following up, period. Like I
Yeah.
said, we just use it to find solutions to whatever their bottlenecks are. And
Hmm.
that literally separates us because it turns us into a done with you.
Yeah.
But we also have a done for you program where we do everything. So we have a little bit of everything that would include the people that want to be hands free because they're just so busy or they have a large team,
Yes.
and then the people that are more hands on, the people that are in their business and don't have time for this. So there's the aspect of it, we do it all for you and we just take it off your plate. So
Hmm.
that is what the majority of our offering is the done for you,
Hmm.
because we have businesses that are already not streamlined per se, but they have operations streamlined, meaning they have a staff,
Hmm.
meaning they're just larger, and they don't have the time to be in this as much as it takes
Yeah.
to with the follow-ups and all the automations and everything that's involved.
Yeah.
So the done for you is our most popular offering, but what makes it and what separates it is the done. It's everything else. If it's not done for you, it's still done with you, because not only we are we available, like you said, we have the 24/7 support. So if it's
Yep.
like three o'clock in the morning, you within 10 minutes you can hop on a Zoom with someone, and they
Yeah.
will walk you through whatever you're stuck with, right? Whereas other agencies, it's Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, or it's some kind of knowledge base you have to go read to get instructions.
Yeah.
It's just different, right? With the live support, separates us a little bit as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. Um, so my next question is, for business owners unfamiliar with AI, what would you say are the key benefits and risks of integrating AI automation for their marketing,
Um,
for their workflow?
as far as risk, I would say the only risk is if you're doing it and you just started out and you're learning it and you're doing it on your own, the risk is getting frustrated and everything broken and none of your automation's working. Um, but that would be the only downside. I don't think there's a risk at all because there's only up. Um, you know,
Yeah.
like I said, unless it's human error, there's only upsides from that because it just literally streamlines everything and it automates everything.
Yep.
Um, the first part of the question, I got so thrown off by the risk because that shocked me because there really is no risk. What was
Yes.
the first part of the question?
The first part of the question, I'll put it back on the screen. For businesses that are unfamiliar with AI, what would you say is the key benefits of
Got it.
AI automation and workflow?
Okay, so the benefits of integrating AI would be the number one resource that you have,
Yeah.
time. That's the benefit that I believe is most important. And second to that, and I think some people would argue that it might be even more important to them than time, but
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
If you're streamlining all of your efforts and you're maximizing all of your organic potential,
Mhm.
all of that potential you were losing before with AI, without AI, you don't know if there was someone that was on a web chat on your website because you didn't have the web chat.
Yes.
You don't know if someone was wanting to just text through your Google business profile because you didn't have the text enabled. All of these things you eliminated or closed the door on is just
Mhm.
potential.
Yep.
You don't know what it is, right? But you do know that it could be something. But
Yeah.
with AI, you can discover that. You can discover that it's nothing, you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
whereas before you didn't know that it was nothing. You just
Exactly.
literally could be leaving money on the table.
Exactly. And then there's opportunity. There's also like businesses who they haven't scaled yet, so they don't have someone that could, just do a simple task of like answering the phone when they're like, for example, if they're a massage business, they're with the client, so they can't answer the phone. And if they do, that client's gonna be upset, like, hey, this was the hour that I'm paying for, and here you are answering phone calls, right?
Right.
So now with the software that you have, it's like you could implement missed call text back, and then you don't have that worry of like, man, I missed that call. It could have been a client. It could have been something important, or you have that now in your memo in your phone, like, hey, this is the person that called, this is the message, and it's wonderful. And then you
Absolutely. And what's great about that is there's something for everybody. Like you mentioned, the missed call text back, those are for like our startup companies. They use that because they have to grow into the next phase, which is the pro phase, where you get the voice AI or the AI receptionist that answers the phone. But just the simple fact of having a missed call text back, whereas if you don't answer, someone instantly texts back and say, "How can we help you?" And conversational AI
yeah,
takes on the conversation or books the call or the appointment. Those things are game changers.
it definitely is. It definitely is. um so in that case, many businesses actually struggle with lead quality and conversion. How does Beech Marketing help clients not only generate your lead, but turn them into like actual real customers?
I'll repeat this until the day that I die, because through all of this journey, this is the
Yes.
one phrase that I've heard the most, and I've
Mhm.
heard a lot of phrases,
Yeah.
but the fortune is in the follow up.
Yeah.
So, long in a nutshell, having a system that allows you to follow up with every single lead and
Mm-hmm.
not have a single lead slip through the crack
Mm-hmm.
is really the only way that I have found that can maximize your potential, organic potential. Because of
And
course, paid ads, you don't want to miss out on the paid ads
sure.
following up with those leads either, right?
Sure.
So all of it, that would I believe that's the key component is the ability to follow up
Mm-hmm.
with every source,
Yes.
every lead source,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And it doesn't
automatic.
matter how big or small your company is. These are just essential things that, just even getting your time back. Even, like when you have a business and say you have someone that works full time as a social media manager, you're easily paying that person $25 an hour. Whereas like now you're using the AI, which like with Canva and all these different apps that are out there, you can create the graphics, spend that hour, automate and post the content in like Meta or even in Beach, and there you go. You eliminated that amount of money that now you can use for growing your business in a different way. Maybe ads, maybe supplies. It's simple stuff like that. Even a receptionist, like.
Absolutely. I mean, in a nutshell, the way it's the entire client journey,
Hmm.
one that you can't do for every single lead yourself. Even if you have a team of 50 people,
Yep.
you can't you can't have a visual of the complete client journey like what AI does. AI,
Yep.
from booking the appointment to following up emails to answering texts to after the purchase, sending thank you responses, newsletters, nurture
Exactly.
emails and sequences, and then Google review requests. Like people simply
That's
forget
huge.
about that, right? You don't have to beg people for reviews anymore. AI will consistently ask people for reviews,
Hmm.
almost to the point to where they annoy them. They'll be like, "Oh my gosh, let me just give these people a review. They keep bothering me." Right? I mean, and
I know
that's the purpose, and all of that is a part of growth. So it's a complete client journey
it is, yeah. And then you
that
can
the
tell,
AI helps you with.
and you can tell like if they're reading your emails too, because like you'll see if they opened it or not. And then if they don't want
Absolutely.
it, they can unsubscribe. Like if you have a newsletter and they're not interested, well, you can unsubscribe. But doesn't mean that you don't keep pushing them out. Like like maybe there is that client that enjoys learning what you're writing. Um,
Yep.
so it's and it might not be for everybody, but at the end of the day, if you really want to save yourself time and money, if you have a CRM to put everything together and organize yourself, you can grow better, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
That's what it takes. You have to streamline it because the next step is in scaling is learning how to uh,
Yeah.
uh, internally build your team, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
To where you can scale that way. But without that, you have to have the system in place first.
Exactly. Exactly. So, what kind of businesses or industries benefit the most from your services? Size, niche, growth. Do you have like a sweet spot of what you prefer?
Well, currently, right now, the two niches that are benefiting most from what we offer is med spas and CFO service providers like accounting firms, fractional CFO firms.
Hmm.
Um, but that's just now because what we found is now that we've been doing this and running ads for so long for so many different niches,
Hmm.
like because basically this is for any service-based business.
Okay.
If you have to book on a calendar, book a call to get sales, and it's not like a in-person walk-in type of service.
Yeah.
Well, even that, it's still a service. So, right, any service-based business,
Yep.
this is what it's for. But
Yeah.
what we found is that with all these different niches, we haven't found out the secret sauce or what opens the faucet on paid ads
Yep.
for any specific niches other than these two. We found the secret sauce for med spas
Hmm.
and fractional CFO firms or accounting firms
Yes.
uh, through running enough ads and having enough metrics and analytics.
Hmm.
We've literally found what it takes and how
Hmm.
much it costs to
Hmm.
get a qualified booked appointment for those two industries, and that's what's benefiting us the most, and that's what's creating our most profitable scale rate right now.
Nice, nice. And another thing I just like to add, that marketing audit, it was so life changing because I didn't know that you could be in different demographic pools like first SEO and where you're found because you think, oh, I put it online, I put it on, I have a website, I have a Google, but then there's so many other directories that you can be found in, like Yelp and MapQuest and Google Maps. I mean, they're all can be targeted so that like when someone goes to that Google, you show up in different categories, and that's
Well,
when they find you faster.
Well, that's literally how Google works. The more directories that you're listed in, the more valuable Google sees your business
Mhm.
because I mean, your business is listed everywhere. So
Yes.
Google looks at that as you're a business that's in demand or a business that's known or recognizable, and they'll pick that up quick. So like that's literally a big part of the whole Google ranking thing is the listings. You have to be in the directories to be visible online
Hmm.
and Bing as well. People don't even know really about Bing, right?
Yeah.
But if you're doing all of this for Google, why aren't you doing it for Bing as well, right? I mean, you're just losing out on these things that you just don't know about per se.
Hmm.
And what AI does is it does it for you. Like you don't even have to be educated. Just let
Yes.
AI handle it, right? Um, but yeah, that's what I found because I didn't know. I didn't even know that there was other search engines,
Yeah.
right, other than Google. And then
Yes.
come to find out, there's all these other search engines. Now AI, people are they're searching through Chat GPT.
Hmm.
All of these things are things that you're just letting go by you because you just don't know about it, right? The quicker you implement AI, the more you know because AI teaches you whether you want to know about it or not.
I know. And even like when I see businesses that they don't do social media, but they have their website, but then their website's not being found, or like it's not targeted. Because if you're showing up on fourth or fifth page of Google, that's not good.
Yeah,
You want to be able to like when your name comes out there, they can find you in different. places, whether you're on a chamber site, whether you're on a Better Business site, whether it should, and then your business name should all align. Like if I'm one self consulting on Google, I got to be one self consulting on Facebook. Like you got to keep your brand identity um, consistent, and I think that's something that a lot of people, they think, oh, I have enough clients, I just do the Instagram. It's like, yeah, but you're missing out on so many other people that maybe not wanting to do social media. And so the only way you can really grow is actually showing up visible.
Yeah, you got to be visible. It's a brand authority and
Mhm.
domain authority. Those are just two key components in growth.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as AI becomes more common in marketing, how do you address concerns about authenticity, privacy over automation for smaller businesses?
Um, I think it's up to whoever it is that's implementing an AI system. I know for us on our end, we
Hmm.
like to meet people where they're at because
True.
there's like over 2,000 features, right? And
Yeah.
there's no sense in overwhelming people with things that they don't even need.
Yes.
Um, I'm not going to start um, pitching AI clones to someone who's not even doing VSLs
Yeah.
as a part of their sales, their ad campaign.
Yeah.
So why, the feature of being able to make an AI clone for, this person doesn't matter to the other, right? So I think it just comes down to whoever it is that is doing the marketing.
Hmm.
But we meet people where they're at. You like sometimes like let's just say for instance you're goaded. You're goaded at being able to get leads in, right?
Hmm.
But you do the same thing across the board, and you have an ad campaign that brings in 400 leads to this one person, and they can't fulfill or they can't service. They only can take on 10 clients, right?
Hmm.
And you've brought them so many leads that now they're calling you, telling you, "Hey, shut the campaign off, or do this, or do that."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is a good thing,
Yeah.
but you're adding stress to your client because
Correct.
they're not prepared. They can't. You should know that they can't take on the more than 10 clients.
Yes.
So don't bring them 30, right? You're bringing on more stress. Those are just small things that a lot of people don't care about because they're thinking, hey man, don't complain because I brought you more money
Yeah.
type stuff. That's stressful.
That's where you pivot. That's where you now know you can hire an employee to help you with that task, and that's the whole point. It's like the more revenue you have, the more you have. You can't just do it yourself. You'll burn yourself out, and that's where you can say, okay, well now I have enough cash flow that now I'm going to implement maybe something else in my business, or I have somebody I'm going to hire now because I can afford that employee. So you got to just pivot. You just got
Yeah.
to pivot.
But just don't make your client do it in a day, do it as, let them see the growth. When they see the numbers, they see they're growing, that it's predictable. They know next month, hey, I can hire someone.
Exactly.
As
Exactly.
opposed to, hey, 10 people came today, I need to go find some help.
Yeah, exactly.
It's stressful.
So, can you share in that sense a success story of a client who you saw significant growth or transformation after using Beech services, and what changed for them?
Yeah, I could share my screen and show you 10 of them, but what I would do, because it's more personal to you, is talk about Vishal because number one, I didn't meet him without you. Um, and number two, you're a witness to the
Yeah,
success.
I am.
Vishal owns three businesses, which we didn't know at first,
Yes.
because one of the businesses he acquired because of what we did
Hmm.
for the client for his business that we started working with. It was doing so well that they went and just bought another venue. It's
Yeah,
like, wow. I mean, that was a first. Like they made so much off of that first ad campaign that it was enough for a loan or however they purchased. They just
that's
went
great.
and got another venue,
That's great.
and it wasn't a cheap one. Um,
Mhm. Well, they live in Los Angeles, so
right.
that's
Yeah. So
yeah.
that is a pretty dramatic success story, but the other ones are more along the line of, over 6 months or over a year, on how we've grown their business from said point to said point. Whereas
Mhm.
with Vishal and our banquet Riverside and Fox Event Center and K&K Entertainment,
Yes.
um, it was shown in actual. They
Num-
bought it. They started another business. They literally, now it's thriving as well. So
Yes.
um,
Because it's a
that one is the one I would like to use because you can witness it.
exactly, and it's beautiful. I've been to his banquet hall in Riverside several times for different weddings and different functions, and it's beautiful. Location, the staff, the way the food comes out, the entertainment. I mean, he was opening up to new ideas too with Beach, like we had said about the quinceanera thing, and I'm glad he implemented it because that's a market that he now targets and gets people who enjoys using his space, and that's great that he's grown because it's not even been a year, and look how
Yeah.
far it's come just by implementing marketing and strategies and doing what you're supposed to do, become visible.
Yeah, they weren't running any ads or any of those things. So all of their success up until that point was organic, which was good
Yeah,
because they were successful. But now they've literally tripled that by being able to market and
exactly.
having a system to where they can do it. They're loving it. They're over the moon.
Yeah, yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome for sure. So, how do you how do you balance providing automated solutions, AI powered, with the human touch? You know, strategy, creativity, brand voice, etc. And
Um,
services.
I talk to people, and when I'm in my staff meetings, my sales team, well, not really my sales team because they're trying to sell people, but
Mm-hmm.
customer service or any of my support team, I tell
Mm-hmm.
them to talk to people.
Yeah,
I think
relation,
that's
early relationships, building
right,
relationships. Yeah.
right, and you have to understand. You have to understand who you're talking to,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people don't know what they need. That's why they're hiring help,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But once you get to know the person,
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of, pick their brain, or you can kind of introduce something to them that they might not have thought of, or give them some perspective on how to present something or how to
Yeah.
position one of their offers.
Right.
Anything, but when you just come in as an agency and you come in and you say, hey, hey, that sucks. You need to change this, or you need,
Yeah.
it just makes people feel a certain way,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
you can come off across wrong easily because we're
Mm-hmm.
the ones that train the bots, and if
Yep.
we don't know who the bots are supposed to represent,
Mm-hmm.
like at least an inkling, because I mean we don't know these people personally, like
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah.
but we try to get an inkling of who they are, or what they want their business to represent, so
Mm-hmm.
we can build the bots out to represent that in the best way.
Yep.
And every single client is different, so you have to do that with everybody.
Yes.
So
Everybody has
that's
their
important.
own brand voice because even ChatGPT, like it'll train you on how you speak and how what you write and how you want to implement yourself or project yourself. So your voice, your visibility, all of that matters in every single ounce of your content. It's got to be you know strategic, but it's also got to be real, and you got to be
Yeah,
able to relay that properly. So that's why
absolutely.
having professionals like yourself, like and your team do it. It helps a lot for sure. Um, my next question, almost getting to the end here. Where do you see the future of digital marketing heading in the next, 5 to 10 years, especially with AI and how Beach Marketing is really preparing for this?
I am taking the approach. My wife kind of just gave me the reins, because I had the vision for this whole SaaS thing. And the way I see it and the way I envision the future is the same way that I'm a firm believer in history repeats itself.
Hmm.
Um, I literally seen this happen before in my life, and it was called the internet.
Yeah,
Like seriously. And I
yeah,
remember, and I remember even before that, I mean, I'm really telling my age, but even before that, cable television
yeah,
or the computer. Like these are things that weren't in everyone's household at one point. You had
yeah.
to be a
Yeah,
fluent.
I love.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it, but over time it became a household item.
yeah,
The television,
yeah,
way back in the 50s, by the times the 70s came around, everyone had a television in their house,
exactly.
and then cable came out, and then by the time 90s came out, everyone had cable.
Yeah.
And then the internet came out, and by the time the 2000s came out, everyone has the internet.
Hmm.
Same thing. Like I see this with AI getting in right now. It's almost like getting in with Amazon. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Everybody thought Amazon was going to be a bust, or Blockbuster with Netflix.
Yes,
Like literally it was the change of guards. It was technology replacing old technology.
yeah.
um
Remember,
Blockbuster.
remember when we had cassette tapes that we would have to we could record it from the
Yeah, used to dub cassette tapes or burn CDs, right? Um, all of these things
Okay.
get pushed to the wayside
Yes.
with new technology, right? So Blockbuster thought it would never go away. Netflix made them go extinct.
Yeah.
Amazon made like mail almost not necessary. Like Amazon, if you didn't get in Amazon, you're rich right now. If you bought into Amazon 20 years ago, you're
I
filthy
know.
rich right now,
I
right?
know.
This is the next big movement. You know, people thought it was crypto. I don't really know what that is. You know where
Even
that is right now.
in the film industry, like you could be an independent film person, put it on
Now
YouTube, and now you become this big influencer, and now brands are coming to you. So it's
streaming.
yeah,
Yeah,
streaming.
streaming was a big thing that took over. You know, like so it's everything gets pushed to the wayside, and I'm telling you, there has not been anything bigger than AI since
Hmm.
the internet.
Yeah.
And if you don't see that, or if you weren't alive then, or if you were alive then, I'm even more disappointed. I don't blame people who weren't alive, but
Yes.
if you were alive when the internet came out, you know, like you should recognize this, right? And that's what pushed me and made me lean towards the SaaS and the whole AI movement and
Yeah.
going this way. Because I just saw it. That was my vision for the future. Is like I don't want to miss out on Amazon again.
Yeah. I.
I don't want to be the last one. These people that are 10 years from now,
Mhm.
everybody's going to be AI automated.
I know.
And
Look
then
at
you're going to be trying to start 10 years later, you know,
exactly. Look at the QR thing. I mean, that's everywhere. You know,
everywhere.
purchasing. Reviews. Like you just hey,
Online shopping, Amazon, there is no online shopping if there was no Amazon.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
For sure.
yeah,
One
you
way or
just
the
gotta
other.
recognize these things.
One way or the other, you got to keep up in some way. But there are coaches like myself and you that can help people understand it. Like that's what makes I think us different as marketers is we're not just like, oh, just throw you to the wolves. It's like, no, we want to see the change. We want to be able to measure, okay, like we implemented this, what happened next month, and you guys give a beach gives this audit marketing audit, which I also have. You can check on my website to sign up for your own. But and then they'll give you like, hey, where can you implement your business? What pages are you not promoting yourself? And it's really a helpful tool. So thanks for offering that free marketing tool for people to check out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what advice would you give entrepreneurs or small business owners hesitant about investing in AI marketing based services?
Oh, the best advice I would I have a lot of advice, but the best advice, what made you be an entrepreneur?
Hmm.
That's my best advice because if you were because you did it. Like, I mean, most people don't do it because they're scared or because of the risk. They don't want to fail,
Right.
right? You have to approach this the same way. Jump in the AI and fail, just like you jumped into entrepreneurship and you have to fail to see how to succeed.
Right.
You don't know how many times I hit my head against the wall and how many programs and courses and everything that I've taken to get
Hmm.
where we're at now.
Yeah.
Um, but if I wouldn't have done that, I
Hmm.
wouldn't be where I'm at now, right? So
Exactly.
my biggest advice would be don't be afraid to fail, just like you weren't afraid to fail starting your business.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. My next question, last bonus question, is rapid fire. Okay. What inspires you daily?
My kids. My kids, I want my kids to see because now they're old enough to see what I'm doing. Before, I just worked.
Hmm.
Dad worked, 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 worked. I was working. But now they can see that I work for myself. Um, and I want them to see that. That's what inspires me daily. I want them to expect what I'm doing when they're an adult. So that's all they know.
And you're setting them up for success. And then that's the best part. So you're leading by example. So I love that about you that, if you don't know an answer, you look it up, you figure it out, you don't give up, and you're always inspired by the people around you, your wife, your kids, your family. And I love that. So, guys, thank you for watching today. If you want more information on Joseph or his company, you can go to Beech Marketing website or email him info@beachmmg.com. Follow Beech Marketing and Media Group on social media. And if you want to see the replay, follow oneself at oneselfconsulting.com. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on, and I look forward to growing um, with you with Beech Marketing.
Thanks, Natasha. It's always a pleasure.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And guys, take one step today that your future self will thank you for. Signing off. Bye, guys.